All right. Good morning, Renee, Adam, and Jason as well. Seeing your comments flying already this Monday morning. Welcome to July as well, guys. Sorry, halfway through the year, moving right along, right? Before you know it, well, the Halloween decor is already out. I saw that at the at-home store. Quite the display, by the way. But that's already out, and won't be long before the Halloween candy comes out and pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks. I think that's right. I don't drink a lot of coffee, so I'm assuming. Okay, I know. Don't rush it, Brian. Don't rush it. We still want to enjoy summer. I get that, and we do have some really nice days to enjoy in the 10-day. One of those is actually today. Today is actually a blue ribbon type of day, certainly when it comes to July standards. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time today because I want you guys to get out there and enjoy being outside and soak it up, because the rest of the week is not. If it's not the heat, it's going to be the thunderstorm action that will get you. So definitely more active as the week wears on. So today is going to be the pick day of the week. It may end up being the pick day of the month. We'll see. So I'm going to walk you through how we're going to get to that point, and especially when it comes to the layered aspect of this of beautiful weather, the heat, and then the thunderstorm setup. Talk a little bit about the long term, and then we'll get into some of the tropics, as there's still some changes going on there, even at this hour that I want to cover. Okay, so let's start with what we'll start with. How about a Skytrack view? That's beautiful, right? It's a live look right now to New Albany, where we got that beautiful blue sky. You're going to see nothing but blue sky today. It's going to be very comfortable. Humidity levels have just been yanked out of the atmosphere to very low levels. You notice probably that starting to happen yesterday after we had the brief storm potential, although I got out of the entire storm chance this past weekend, I think I got, what did I get? I'll put it in chat. I'll type it there so you guys can see it. But this is how much I got at my house. So I'm not sure how much you got, but it wasn't enough. And it really caused some problems with watering in my pond. So I am really, really hoping that we get some decent rain later this week. And I do think we will. So enjoy today. Get ready for the heat tomorrow. Then the stormy weather arrives. But beautiful out there today. All right. Current temperature outside, 68 degrees, 67 into Bardstown this morning. Humidity, again, low. Dew point levels show that. We're running roughly right around lower 50s, which is comfortable. When you really don't notice humidity, especially in the summer season, it really gets your attention until you get to about 60. You start to like, okay, wait a minute, it's getting a little uncomfortable at 65. At 70, you're like cutting back my activities. At 75, you're sweating going to the mailbox. And if you get a dew point of 80, you pretty much just don't want to go outside. So that's the layering that we go by in ranges in dew point. So 50s, good spot. 40s is even better, but 50s is mighty fine for first day of July. All right, that's led to, of course, the clear skies. Got a few clouds off to the north. Everything's moving backwards today, moving in from the east. But very quiet here. We got some storms in the Midwest, still a very disorganized setup for the Carolinas, leading to some flooding issues there. But really, we're kind of in this little dip in the jet at the moment, and allowing for that cool pocket of air right into the Ohio Valley. So some of the blues this morning, those are 40s. Those were 40s this morning across Illinois, Indiana, into Michigan. Oh, those you missed that. But we're about to flip the narrative, and I'm telling you right now, this is going to be fast. Today, gorgeous, barely into the 80s, low humidity. In less than 18 hours, the heat will dominate. The wind's going to shift around. Things will change rapidly. So I already see the heat alerts that are out across areas of the Deep South, all the way into the plains. We will see all of this likely expand much more for tomorrow, a little closer to us. Right now, I think it's Paducah to Nashville. I think everything will be at an angle on the heat, but it'll be a little closer to us. We've been lucky so far to avoiding heat alerts. We just have not had the heat index get up there to the point of being in danger levels, which is good. But some of you to the south and southwest of Louisville may be pushing it tomorrow and perhaps even parts of Wednesday. Now, in terms of severe weather, obviously, we're not expecting storms today. We don't have to worry about that. Tomorrow, they get at least on the map to where we can tell how this is going to evolve with this low in the front dragging into the area by the time we head into Wednesday. That's when it arrives. This is where we get the severe risk that is out for Wednesday, right along the Ohio River. Now, the front itself is key on that. If the front is a little closer to Indy, it's going to be more toward I-70. If it's a little closer to Louisville, it's going to be closer to I-64. But there will be clusters of thunderstorms, but they will also kind of bounce around and form different outflows in different directions. So this is not a typical map you're looking at and like, okay, there's a few storms in Illinois and Indiana, and they'll drift toward Louisville. Not necessarily in this setup. They may go south and southwest. Some may go a little more due south and east out of the city. So there's a lot of questions on the motion that these will have, but certainly the parameters will be there to at least get some warnings on Wednesday. Yes, the potential is there for this to be a large day for us. We only have 1 or 2 high-res models that can see this event. We need a little more. And as soon as we get a little more, I got a feeling we will be in alert day status for Wednesday and possibly even Thursday. So let's start with today's setup. We're fine, no problems. We get into tomorrow. The heat is the big story. I don't think it's going to be anything excessive. I think we'll get into the 90s here locally, but anything higher than that is going to be likely to the southwest of us. Then you see the fuel being added as we head into Wednesday afternoon. You can easily see where the front is right in through here. And there's where the showers and storms are to begin to blossom right in advance of it. And this particular model really likes to focus a good chunk of the thunderstorms right along where that slight risk was. I mean, you couldn't get more on the money for that. I mean, Illinois near Louisville down to southern Illinois, right? That's basically where the slight risk was drawn at. So this in-house model already thinks, yeah, this is the spot to watch. But I do think we need to give a little bit more time to see if there's some wiggle room. We've seen that already this season where the modeling has not been exactly right on placement. So either way, it is going to be fairly unstable ahead of this with such a quick turn in the atmosphere tomorrow back into the heat and humidity. And then we're going to get several different impulses moving through to allow for an active Wednesday and Thursday. I do think for the holiday, for 4th of July, I meant to throw it in here, but 4th of July may feature clusters of storms day and night that may carry into parts of Friday before we see a break for the weekend. But right now, Wednesday and Thursday look to be the most active days, and Thursday is probably the most active of them all. And because they are MCSs, widespread damage and wind potential begins to go up. And therefore, an alert day may be needed for both of those days, Wednesday and Thursday. That's the game plan on the thunderstorm side for this week. Looking at the longer range here, we keep getting this trough that shows up into Canada over and over and over again, allowing for the Bermuda high to be mainly lodged into the Atlantic. A lot of heat out here in the west, but still a very weak spot right here into the central Gulf of Mexico. So if there's anything that can come in from the tropics, this is your window. It will likely aim toward Mexico and Texas, but there is wiggle room right in through here where there's no high pressure. You see the high block, the darker red for all intents and purposes, more east and more west. And again, you just have more of a dip here. The problem with having a dip in the Great Lakes is that if anything tropical does try to get into the Gulf, it can't exactly go just straight into like Chicago. It will take sharp turns. So either it'll get ricocheted back to the west, or it'll have a dramatic turn and head out to the east. That looks to be the most likely scenario. If anything tropical can get into the Gulf based in the upper air pattern right now, it would likely be some kind of a dramatic turn. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. That will continue for a while. I think we're going to kind of get in this rinse and repeat pattern into July. So the good news about that is that we're going to likely keep thunderstorm chances in every few days. That's good. Hopefully that will keep us out of getting into a worse drought scenario. And it will keep the heat relatively in check. I mean, get some 90s, but nothing really from what we had a week ago on the intensity of 90. So that's some good news there. All right, here is the Colorado State machine learning severe risk. It's hard to see. It's got Kentucky, northern Kentucky. It's on the left here in the very low end severe risk, but it really likes Missouri and Illinois. This is Storm Prediction Center on the right. You can see that it really likes, well, obviously what I showed you on the other map, right along the Ohio River. So they're not in full agreement, but in general, the front is in the area. So you get the idea. Yeah, there could be some storms that we're talking about as we head into to Wednesday there. All right, to the tropics we go. All right, here is the one that snuck by. A lot of people didn't get a chance to get a lot of time with, and that was Chris. Became a depression, storm, and then quickly back into a depression and moving down the inland areas of Mexico. But, man, they just got hit. So a lot of flooding issues, very mountainous area for Honduras area, west of Belize, all the way into central Mexico. Kind of a mess there. All right, there's Burrow, which we'll get back to in a second, still Cat 4. But there's also another one that is trying to develop. There's actually a couple more waves in the Atlantic. This particular one's right above the 60 on this map. Actually struggling. They went back down on the potential for development from 70 to 60%, still up there. So we'll see if it takes the nearly exact same path. There's going to be what we call upwelling, which is where the previous storm took all the warm water that was on top of the water, the bath water. And because of the churning and the way it turns, it takes the colder water underneath and then brings it to the top and wipes out the warmer water, basically just churns it all up, which is called upwelling. So if this storm takes near the exact same path, it's going to run into what Burl did to the water, which will make it struggle. If it can stay north or south of the track of Burl, it has a chance because the water is very warm, still at record levels north and south of where Burl went. And if it were to slow down, it would give maybe some time for the water to heat back up again, but I doubt it. So anyway, that's the outlook for the 3 systems that were out there. Obviously, everyone's talking about Burl. Still a major hurricane set the record yesterday of being, at least since records are being kept, the first Cat 4 in the month of June, which made it down to the wire in the last hours of June. What an eye. Man, you could really see that eye near Grenada itself, moving right in. I think the last gust I saw was over 60-something miles per hour, but heading around the Barbados area and Martinique, and then it's heading south, really, of most of the island chain. It's really the Windward Islands are getting the impact right now. I got our alerts out. They're in the southern coast there of Haiti and Dominican Republic. Right now, Puerto Rico looks okay. You get into Cuba right now. Cuba looks okay. You get toward the end of the period. This is where some question marks are. Will it ricochet, as I was trying to explain earlier, a little more west into, once again, southwest Gulf of Mexico or Texas? Or will it sense, if it slows down, another front moving in and makes that turn into the Gulf of Mexico, a very sharp turn? I don't think we can ignore either scenario. This one is certainly the most likely, but I don't think we can really ignore really much of the longer-term pattern just yet on Burl until we get a little closer down the road. But right now, no U.S. areas are impacted as far as U.S. mainland. All right, so what's the game plan? Well, here it is. We're likely to see, look at that, 82 today. 82 today. That's for a high. We jump 10 degrees tomorrow. I hope you're ready for that. We get into Wednesday. We'll see how strong the storms can get. It's going to be a hot day, but potential is there to get some damaging winds. Same story for the 4th of July that will carry over to parts of Friday. And then I think we'll have a quieter weekend before you reset next week. But notice we don't have a lot of intense 90s that is coming our way. So I think for those that are wanting to celebrate 4th of July holiday itself is going to be tough. But if you did it this past weekend or you're wanting to do it this upcoming weekend, your odds are actually better than what they will be for the 4th itself. I hope that helps. We shall see how this all turns out. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it as always. I got to run, but we'll have more coming up on Wave News at midday. See you then.